G'day, my name's Chris. I'm here today to tell you a little bit about our disc stacks. They're disc pants manufactured specifically for disc golf. They basically have 4-way stretch, water repellent material. They have a towel attachment pocket in the front side of each pair of pants. They have zip back pockets. They have enough belt loops to tie you up, and you got reflectors. So for those of you riding to the course on your bike, you'll be safe in the dude pants. We're predicting these pants are going to become legendary. Get yourself some.
Hello everyone, and welcome to day 2 here at the 2017 Memorial Championships presented by Discraft. I'm your host Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, and joined by Disc Golf Pro Tour Director Steve Dodge. Steve, I got that one out in one take. Last year that took us took me about 22 takes.
Not only did it take a lot of takes, but the outtake whole reel, that reel was an outtake in and of itself because it just ended right in the middle of one of your errors. It was shocking.
Anyway, so Steve, we're here for day 2. We're at Fiesta Lakes. A little bit shorter course, but plenty of challenge. There's a lot more trees out here. We still have OB, and most importantly, we're covering the Pro Women lead card. How exciting is that?
It's time. I said maybe about 3 or 4 weeks ago, it's maybe the year of the women. And I loved the fact that last round we were able to clip in the edited women's round from early in the morning. We'll do that again tomorrow. We'll do that again Saturday. Cover the women basically every round that they're playing. Unlike the men, actually. This round, the men went off at 1. We don't have time to do the editing because they're still playing. And so we're just going to give the women their due this round and enjoy the show. It's very exciting.
Well, and I've got to first of all commend you on the effort that you put forth yesterday. I was skeptical that it was going to work as well as it did. You were actually editing the holes as we were going and then feeding them into Milwaukee, and then we were trying to splice them into the broadcast. It seems as if people really enjoyed it. They said it last night on the podcast that I did that it was great. So thank you for everything you're doing. Maybe a little bit smoother as we move forward. What do you know?
I look forward to doing a little better job. And I will say, I think around hole 13 or 14, the upload slowed down, and we actually didn't get a couple holes uploaded in time. And that's what happens when you cut it close.
It certainly does. Well, speaking of cutting it close, right now we have Paige Pierce sitting at 3 under par. She's out in the lead. At +2, we have Sarah Hokom, and at +3, we have Catrina Allen. Did I do that right? I didn't even cheat this time.
You did it perfect.
Wow. So we're going to see today, obviously, Catrina is hoping to alleviate essentially the one mistake she had yesterday. She had one poor hole. Had that been just simply a 2 or a 3, she'd be tied or right there in the lead. How close of a battle do you think we're going to see throughout the next 2 days, 3 days?
Over the next 2 days is easy. The 3 days is tougher. These women are amazing. I just watched, I think, the third card go off, and they all just straight as a string right through the, it's not that thin of a gap, but straight. But these women have stepped it up. The women shooting 1,000 rated round is not uncommon anymore. This is very, very exciting.
Well, I was going to say, I hear the surprise in your voice, and with as much as we've been walking around covering the women the last few years, I'm really not surprised anymore. Seeing the skill level, how it rises every single year, the battles that are taking place, we see new sponsorships taking place, we see Paige's transition, Valerie Jenkins has transitioned now into be a Discraft player, so a lot of exciting things going on, and we're going to see a lot of great golf. I think what everyone's in store for is a Steve Dodge co-commentator today. You and me? Really? That's scary. Let's get to the action.
No guarantee I don't get called away, but we'll do what we can.
All right, let's get to it.
For tee time. First to the tee pad, Paige Pierce.
And Paige's forehand easily makes it through the mandatory,
Sarah Hokom.
and it stops just short of the OB parking lot. She is safe.
Finally on our women's lead card, Catrina Allen.
And after some brief deliberation, and Catrina Allen's first attempt had gone left of the triple mandatory. That requires an additional tee shot, which is why you saw her throw a second time with penalty. And then she put it up to the right, just short of the pin. And Steve, we're moving down the fairway here on hole number 1. We saw Catrina Allen had missed the mandatory left. And you're going to be pulling some double duty today. Also working the live scoring that everyone can find on udisclive.com. So make sure you follow along and check out the action online and keep up to date with the stats as well as the men's scores. And the men teed off, the leader card for the men teed off a little over an hour ago.
That's exactly right, Terry. People can also watch this live broadcast online on dgpt.com.
Pretty clever idea. I like the idea of that. All right, Paige is actually a little further away than I had anticipated. Looks like she's about 25 feet past the pin, and she did come up short of the OB parking lot. This is for birdie. Catrina's second tee shot effort puts herself within 12 feet of the pin. Actually, it looks more like 7. Got to get these distances dialed in here, Steve. Paige cleans up for 3, and Sarah Hokom will tap in from less than 5 feet for birdie. Brief walk will move us over to hole number 2. You're watching live disc golf right here from Fiesta Lakes.
If I lay up, I get a personal best, but if I hit the putt, it's a new course record.
Hokom successfully gets past the double mandatory found here on hole number 2.
Paige straight as a string right through the thin gap, both the thin gaps. Looks like she's within 5 feet. Nice shot by Paige. She held on that a little long. It got through. She should be able to go up and down, have a chance at 3.
Catrina Allen trying to get confirmation from the group, and Steve Dodge in particular, as to whether or not that is OB, the water that she's landed next to.
Very good job recovering. She's got about 15 feet. Save the par.
Sarah Hokom will be approaching next.
Terry, does Catrina look a little bit tight to you so far?
Well, she did pull that initial drive on hole 1 off to the left-hand side, and she really just missed it by a few inches. And here there's also a Mando, which shouldn't come into play, but she was certainly flirting with it on that right side. So we'll have to see. Maybe she just needs get a little bit more comfortable here as we're moving down the fairway at 2. And we certainly know that she's going to make a very, very solid charge here, as we know she's out here and competes at the highest of levels.
It's just a matter of momentum, and it looks like, from my perspective, her body language is saying she doesn't have it yet.
And as you're stating, momentum is certainly in Paige's favor right now. Starting out with a birdie here on hole number 2. The par on 1, but a birdie on 2. She's going to distance herself from both Sarah and Catrina for an additional stroke here on this second hole. Moving along nicely here through 2. We'll be back in a few moments after a word from our sponsors.
DiscGolfCenter.com is your premier online disc golf retailer. We offer free shipping within the U.S. on all orders over $12, a live inventory of over 20,000 golf discs in stock, and the most competitive prices online, period. You're guaranteed to find the disc you're looking for, down to the exact weight and color. Visit DiscGolfCenter.com, the world's largest disc golf store. DiscGolfCenter.com.
And welcome back. We are here on hole number 3, as we've seen Paige Pierce move to 4 under par, Sarah Hokom +1, Catrina Allen at +4. A little later in the round, we'll also catch up with Big Germ, Jeremy Coling. It seems as if he has completed his golf for the day, so I'm sure he's going to be able to provide some insights for us. And on the tee is now Paige Pierce.
Germ bump. Oh.
Big Germ calling for the ace here. As we know, Big Germ can't get an ace himself. So what he does is he hangs out with others that frequently get aces, just looking for a little sports center action. Is that right, Big Germ?
It's called spreading the love, baby.
Something like that.
She put that farther left than I expected. Gets a nice, off that tree. That is not fortunate.
Tree night, as I like to say. Not clever, but effective.
Catrina puts it up. It looks like a really good distance.
Nice.
Yes.
That.
Maybe she's getting in a little bit in the groove there. She left herself 20 feet.
I've come up with a new term. Some people call it the Big Germ bump. I've heard always a bridesmaid. I've probably heard that one a million times. I'm gonna start calling it spreading my germs. Start spreading the germs.
That's eloquent. I like that.
Well, see, it happened again today. So it's only 2 in 2 tournaments so far. So it's kind of it's a bit of a slow season, but we'll see if we can get some more aces tomorrow. 2, maybe 3 would probably get me back onto the pace for a normal schedule.
Was there an ace today in your card? Is that what you're telling me?
There was. It was a skip ace. I narrowly missed it, of course, bridesmaid. But the guy behind me is one. Even though I threw a sidearm, he threw it back in. But he learned how to skip properly. See, I showed him how to skip it off the ground.
And what hole was this?
It was hole 5, 2 holes from now.
All right, Big Germ, spreading the germs. I think he's been doing that all his life. I'm not sure that I would be necessarily publicizing it now, but whatever works for you. And during practice just a few days ago, we actually saw this chained out. One of the groups that was out here getting in a little warm-up, chained out, dead center chains on the ground. Big Germ should have been there for that. All right, we'll see who is out. Steve, we're blessed with what looks to be another gorgeous day. Not a cloud in the sky, mid to high 70s. Right now it seems to be light winds, but it certainly has picked up throughout the day.
The winds are definitely light. I've enjoyed spending the last 4 months in New England hidden inside, making sure to have a very dark room, and to come out here and just, the sun is kind of surprising to me.
Wow, and it seemed as if Sarah Hokom hesitated for a moment as to if she was going to run at that or lay it up, and she clearly ran at it and was just off the chains.
I like to call that tree-eyed.
And the patented flip by Paige Pierce, however, comes up short on the uphill putt. Catrina left with approximately 22, maybe 24 feet uphill.
It's 27 feet, Terry.
Big Germ claims 27.
That's 4-foot elevation rise.
That's what I'm factoring that in.
Big Germ's always compensating for something. And Kat with the birdie.
Perfect 27-foot putt.
And at this rate, Kat is on a solid pace, 4.32.
4.32 Germ.
And there you have it. We're through 3. We'll be back in a few moments. Through hole number 4. And
No ketchup.
welcome back. Sorry, there seems to be a little bit of confusion as to what's going on. Big Germ, tell us what you're seeing. What's going on here?
Well, I saw Kat walking down the fairway waving her arms. I thought she was saying she doesn't want ketchup on her sandwich, but apparently she was doing something else, according to facts.
Okay, so no ketchup. What kind of sandwich would you be putting ketchup on today? Although we do have a sponsor, Boulders on Southern. They're out here providing a great-looking food truck. Hosted the players' party last night. Phenomenal time. Someone said you were going to get pwned at the putting competition, but instead you didn't even show up for it.
Well, the best way to not lose at a putting contest is to not show up.
So I literally, the guy explained it to him.
Okay, so
And they just looked at it, and I'm like, okay, forward, double handle. There's an OB line to the left. It's not OB. But when you play the tweener par 3, par 4, going down the hill, it's OB. And they're like,
Okay, so Catrina trying to clarify some rules here on hole number 4.
I could have swore it was a sandwich ordeal. I could have swore I thought that she was just really adamant about her the condiments, but I was wrong.
We're used to that. All right, here we are on hole 4, Catrina Allen on the tee. And as you could see, Catrina was very conscientious of the tree that impedes the tee shot here on the back of the tee pad on hole number 4. Paige with a very conventional, gentle hyzer out to the right side, nestling up next to the pin. And Big Germ, talk about that forehand.
That's perfect. There's no one in her division and maybe in the game that can throw those anhyzers, soft flexes the way that Sarah does. She has incredible control over that. I could definitely learn from that because that is not my power release angle. She has a lot of touch, a lot of control over that, and all 3 ladies came up with really great shots there. We're through 22 holes in the tournament right now, if you're keeping track. Paige is beating me by 3 strokes, so I'm just trying to keep up with her right now, even though my 36 holes are already in. She beat me by 1 yesterday, and she's off to a good start already, so I'm sweating here. I'm sweating.
Well, we know how our disc golf community hates spoilers, so we'll let this play out. I'm excited to see this as well, actually. I don't know what you had scored out here today. You played much earlier, like way earlier, and I don't want to discuss, what that really means, but with your, you getting up with the rooster here this morning, I just, we'll see how the scores shake out. Solid putt by Catrina Allen. She's in for birdie 2. And we have a pair of tap-ins here on hole number 4. Paige just 1 foot away, and of course, Sarah just 3 feet away.
That's 5. Again, Terry, if you lie down, what are you, 5'3", 5'4"? You'd see that, I think that.
Edge of basket, not to the pole. All right, we're clear on hole 4. We'll be back with you guys in just a few moments on the tee of 5.
For me, it's time with my friends.
For me, it's a walk in the park.
For me, it's my job.
For me, it's fun.
At Disc Golf Center, we strive to provide the best customer service and value. With our live inventory of over 20,000 discs, we have the widest selection and the best prices. Check out discgolfcenter.com to see what we have to offer, including free shipping within the United States on all orders over $12 and a customer rewards program that gets better over time. Visit discgolfcenter.com, the world's largest disc golf store.
And welcome back to the green of hole number 5. We are currently seeing Vanessa Van Dyken tap in. Vanessa, of course, our Am World's champion from just a few years ago. She's going to be playing a lot more in the U.S. this year, traveling around with Seppu Paiu, both Team Prodigy players. Catrina Allen is ready to go here on the tee of 5. Cat goes with the wide hyzer, trying to go out and around.
Great shot.
Looks to be a solid shot there by Catrina Allen. Paige opts for the up the center shot. Looks like she's cleared the or cleared the trees. We'll see if that skipped a little far left, possibly.
That's probably going to be out of bounds. Yeah, Sarah likes to go the route that I was looking at here, which is the flex outside sidearm. One of the things that does for you is you're kind of flirting with these trees up here on the left by the 6's tee pad. If you hit one of those, you're going to be out of bounds. But if you miss those, it's a pretty generous gap. You're staying away from the road and guaranteeing that you'll have a putt inside 40 to 30 feet.
And Big Germ, even with your taller stature, you just assumed that the tee shot by Paige Pierce had gone out of bounds, and it had done just that. From where we were located, we couldn't actually see the result of that shot.
This is actually the hole that I was playing earlier when Sean Capalco got his ace. He skipped it in with a Firebird, and had he not gone in the basket, he would have been about where Paige's is, almost all the way across the road. But you got the BJB, so the Big Germ bump helped him out.
And Paige and Sarah Hokom here just both trying to get confirmation as to where Paige was last inbounds. Catrina and Sarah both in agreement with where Paige will take her live from. So first to putt from 27 feet will be Sarah Hokom. And nicely accommodating for that tailwind putt. Hokom is up and in on the right side.
Oh my goodness, that's the kind of catch that I would like to have every once in a while. It was a solid putt, just a little bit of a push out from the Mach 5s, but it held true, and Paige is in for 3. Just for the record, I birdied this hole, so I did make up a stroke on a little difference between Paige and I's overall score.
We'll see how that finishes by the end of the round. All right, we have a very brief turnaround here. We're moving over to hole number 6's tee, where we actually see the second card in the process of teeing off. We'll see if we can capture these tee shots for you before we cut away to our sponsors. And it looks like Zoe may be the last to tee. We'll be back with you in a few moments. We'll catch up with the second card right here on hole number 6. You're watching the 2017 Memorial Championships presented by Discraft.
That's the kind of catch that I would like to have.
Achieving greatness requires hundreds of days of preparation, which is why the people at Vibram have worked for over 3 years to make their first ever distance driver the longest and straightest in the game. Introducing the new Vibram Lace, helping you achieve your greatness.
And welcome back as we are here in the middle of the fairway on hole number 6. We're watching the second card throw their approach shots. This, in fact, is one of the longest holes found here on the course. It's still a par 3, but one of the longest holes out here. In the past, we've seen the likes of Simon Lizotte and others drive the length of this entire hole and go past it with a roller. Right now we're watching Valerie Jenkins line up her shot from the right side. And Steve, we've got a lot of different support coming in for the Disc Golf Pro Tour. In fact, many have commended you on your efforts of being so inclusive of all the different sponsors that are part of the tour. You also came out with an article a few months ago talking about approved baskets and baskets that are used on the tour. How did that come about, and what was the input there?
Well, without the players, we don't have a very good tour. And one of the things that I want to do is make sure the players are listened to. And one of the things that they complain quite a bit about is things like cut-throughs and spit-outs and inconsistent baskets. So we made a list of 4 approved Pro Tour baskets that over 75% of the touring pros feel are fair baskets. And ironically, it's funny, I assume this is why you brought this up, but ironically we're playing on one course that actually does not have approved baskets.
Oh, that's weird.
So, oddly enough, so DGA was gracious enough to donate 18 Mach X baskets, which we will see tomorrow at Vista. They have beautiful number plates, and any course that does not have approved baskets has the opportunity to utilize those baskets. The Memorial utilizing 3 courses, 2 of which did not have approved baskets, so you gotta make your choices where you make your choices. So that's why we're actually playing on not approved baskets here, and then I'm sure some players are going to get cut-throughs and worry about that.
Well, and really, to be fair, everybody's got to play on them. Whether you love a basket or not, or you love the tendencies of them, everyone needs to play on them. Just like every different course you go to, there's a different set of trees, there's a different set of OB and obstacles in which everyone plays that exact same course. So it's not like baskets get switched up mid-round or for any particular division or player. And really, with all the different opinions out there, what some people love for one basket, they may hate for another. So when it comes to so much personal preference, it's challenging probably to accommodate each and every single person. And we're not just picking on Big Germ, who complains all the time about baskets, even though he's no longer in earshot. So you're doing the best that you can here with the situation we're given. This is also one of the few events where we see so many courses. In fact, there's no other event where we'll see 3 courses in a single weekend. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct, with the exception of GMC, which has 2 courses that are literally right next to each other. All of the other events have 1 course being played, which is, in my opinion, fantastic. So the Memorial, which is clearly a great event, offers some unique challenges, which give us also some extra opportunities. So.
All right, well, we are seeing, again, the second card as they're moving down the fairway here on hole number 6. A little earlier, Paige Pierce had come up to me and said that she talked with her friend, sometimes referred to as her wifey, Madison Walker, and Madison had said, "I'm killing it. I've like birdied everything. I'm like 6 down." And Paige said, "You haven't played 6 holes. Did you ace?" And she's like, "No, but well, and I missed a hole." She's like, "Okay," so, but she is doing very well. Thanks to our friends over at UDisc, we're going to be able to see. And I did watch Madison's initial shot on hole 1 where she was 2 feet away, and there you have it. I'm looking at the scoring now. She is 4 down through. She was 4 down through 5 holes.
Not only that, but she hit a huge putt on hole 4.
Yes, she did. So Madison Walker looking to make her move. We're seeing that almost all of the women in the top 6 or so, 6 to 8 women are essentially blemish-free, with the one exception by Catrina on the opening hole. It looks like everyone is shooting very well. We're seeing also that Catrina has, of course, birdied the last 3 holes. Sarah Hokom has birdied 3 of the last 5, and Paige birdieing 2 of the last 4. So this is definitely a scorer's course. We'll see if the winds stay calm and see what kind of scores come in at the end of the day. Do you think, Big Germ has told myself, and I haven't looked, he said that Paige was beating him yesterday. Who's going to be ahead at the end of the day, Big Germ or Paige Pierce?
Over the course of the 10 Pro Tour events, I would say it's going to be a 50-50 at each event. It's going to, I mean, Jeremy's, there's some of the courses that have, that are really far, and Paige is a big thrower. Mm-hmm. So at those courses, obviously, Jeremy's going to have to try to putt really well. But, yeah, it's going to be 50-50. I actually am surprised we don't have a Paige-Jeremy league tour. Yeah.
We should. And then by the end of today...
We're live on the tee here.
All right. Well, then I'll be quiet for a moment. Katrina's disc was turning over. It was high and right, caught the tree, and then dropped down. She's going to have quite a bit to go here for this long hole number 6.
I think Catrina has successfully loosened up. She had really good form and good follow-through on that. It seems like on the first couple holes, she wasn't quite following through all the way. And I feel pretty strongly she's going to get really close to the basket on her next shot.
And a hole that sets up exceptionally well here for Sarah Hokom, going forehand and then forehand, right side of the fairway. Paige, I believe, has a mid-range in her hands, so I think she's going for control over distance here. And trying to steer clear of the OB found on the left side of the fairway. She is short and right. We're going to move down the fairway, and in the meantime, can you catch us up with a little bit of the scoring that's taking place on the men's side, thanks to udisclive.com?
Of course I can, Terry. Thank you very much for asking. A lot of times, well, and like right now, the phone takes a little bit to load. I was in the process of loading the shots for the first time, and let's see. Oh, can we just guess?
Well, we can, and what I can say is I did get a little bit of intel saying that the UDisc servers are currently getting crushed right now. We know that they've increased capacity, progressively since they got started last year, but it sounds as if they were getting crushed right now because there are so many people out there trying to take in the action.
Terry, does Smashbox have a special server that I can type in here? Do you want to say that on air?
We'll work on that.
Is this a par 3? This is a par 3.
This is a par 3.
It's like 4,000 feet. I don't even want to walk all the way there.
You know, I'm just on the tour for the exercise.
And Terry, it looks like you've lost upwards of a pound this weekend, maybe a half pound. You don't know? Okay.
I apologize, Steve. I didn't hear what you were said. I was getting some more intel pushed into my ear about scoring and where you can find some information, which I cannot repeat on the ear. So I'm going to go ahead and put my earphones into your ear so you can hear the secret that was just given to me.
This is special. All right, I'm now listening, but I can't hear. All right, and I can hear now.
Paige Pierce with a solid approach shot. Looks to be within 25 feet short of the pin. Just as expected, Sarah ultimately able to go with a patented forehand. However, it looks like it came in a little bit hot on the green, and she got a roll and a skip as it carried just over the basket. And thanks to the special Smashbox secret server that we do have that you were asking about and we have now hunted down, looks like we're seeing Kale Leviska out in the lead outright, sitting at 18 under par. Ricky Wysocki at 17 under par, and a tie for third with Lizotte, Owens, Gavin Rathbun, and Paul Macbeth at 16 under par. Paul currently with the hottest round of the day thus far, as many holes as he's through. He is at 9 under par, so Paul making a charge.
So I'm going to guess with that kind of score that Paul went 4 down through the first 6, much like Madison Walker.
But we didn't see Paul run over and tell Paige that he's killing it.
So this is actually insanely exciting with Paul Macbeth moving up like he is. The first sort is based on hot round. So as it goes right now, the lead card for tomorrow, if it ended right now, would be Leviska, Wysocki, Macbeth, and Gavin Rathbun, which, as we all know, would be an insane card. There are a lot of very good players here, very, very tight. The top 10 are within 4 strokes of each other.
Well, and as we mentioned a number of times, this is a scoring course. We could see some very hot scores coming here today. Paul Macbeth en route, looking at a 9 under par. And Sarah's attempt at par is short.
I think that was a very safe attempt by Sarah. I don't think she wanted to give that a full run with this drop off behind.
Catrina, on the other hand, can be very aggressive. She's looking at a slightly uphill putt, approximately 28 feet. Great putt by Catrina Allen, saving the par here from 28 feet. it looks like Paige is going to stand down for just a few moments here as she's waiting for Madison to tee on the hole, the next hole, hole number 7, which is just off in the distance. It's at about an 11 o'clock position from where she's standing and lining up her putt.
My guess is that Madison is still playing very well. That was an amazing drive. I didn't know she had that kind of forehand.
She just started forehanding in the last few weeks, and seems like she's really picked it up.
In the last few weeks?
No, I'm kidding. That's all she's been throwing, Steve, is forehands.
Ever?
Yes.
Okay, so I apparently don't watch enough of the women's coverage. We should talk about that a little bit after this hole.
We certainly will. And we'd like to welcome again everyone here as we are waiting for the group on 7 to throw their tee shots. And Lisa Ficus is confirming that she should be up and throwing, and everyone's waving her on. Steve,
is Chad getting this?
Everyone, we have so many viewers out there that are always talking about more coverage for the women, and we're glad to be presenting it here today. We'll get some more of those insights and background. Third to tee on the hole number 7 is Jessica Weiss. Jessica had a rough start. As I saw her play hole number 1, she came up just about circle's edge, ended up going past the basket, and then missed the comebacker from 12 to 15 feet. So she had started off with a bogey 4.
Should I make a comment here about how I've never really watched Jessica Weiss throw forehands either?
That's what I'm here for, buddy. This is Paige Pierce for par. Perfect by Pierce. Sarah Hokom will just be left to tap in, and as we're clearing out from hole number 6, we'll also be able to catch up with the group. There's in fact 2 groups backed up on hole number 7. Steve will bring them more action. We'll also get some insights from you regarding women's coverage here on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. So for now, we'll be back in just a few moments right here from hole 7 at Fiesta Lakes. And welcome back to the fairway of hole number 7. A few moments ago we saw Madison Walker throw her approach shot, and then just now was Lisa Ficus. Hole 7, a par 4, one of the most challenging and difficult holes found out here at the Fiesta Lakes course. It's really all about placement on this initial drive, and there is a fast sloping green where the basket is perched on top. So next up will be Jessica Weiss, and as we're walking along trying to give you as much coverage as possible here of this women's round, Steve, it sounds as if some of the people out on the board, some of our most loyal viewers, are taking it all in, and some people are a little frustrated that we're not seeing live men's coverage right now. What can you say about that?
Well, we're not planning on doing live men's coverage today. We were hoping we could do edited men's coverage. The tee times were too close together. That's something that we'll correct in the future, and we'll make sure that the lead card from whatever division we're not covering goes off plenty early, so we have time to get that footage and edit it down. This is a new process, and we're obviously going to run into some glitches, and I would say that the fact that we don't have that footage is one of those glitches. That's the way things go. It looks like the second card is being cleared, and they will probably get going.
All right, our cameramen will all readjust again. This is a very highly congested area. We're trying to watch the third card get into position. Green, and now the second card. In just a few moments, we'll realize that they're actually eligible to tee. And I think in a few moments, hopefully, they will see that everything will be ready to go. Here on the second card, we've got 4-time world champion Valerie Jenkins, joined by Zoe Andike. Steve, last year, due to scheduling, due to manpower, budget, and really just a number of things, we weren't able to give as much mixed coverage, both men and women, as we're trying to do this year. Quite an effort going from what we did last year to then ramping it up this year.
That is the truth, and I want to just touch on that, the lack of men's coverage right now. 100% that's accurate and not what we wanted to do. We were hoping to get some of the men's coverage. However, we do have Jomez, we do have Central Coast, we do have Prodigy. That footage will be seen. I understand that people will know the scores already, and a lot of people like to watch live coverage better. Here's Zoe on the tee, but I just wanted to say we will have that coverage, and it will be able to be seen.
And Zoe not quite getting out to the opening here, getting caught up on the right side. Valerie Jenkins throwing second. Valerie talked at great lengths last night about how she has an entirely new bag, and that certainly worked for her. She said she is throwing the Discraft Thrasher. She's also throwing the Discraft Heat, two of her drivers that she's been relying on since picking up a new bag. And also a great shot here by Vanessa Van Dyken. And they will move down the fairway here on hole 7.
So, Terry, on hole 7 here, Vanessa's disc flared out at the end, and she went wide left. Is she going to have a good look going up towards the pin?
Yeah, if you're tight to the right here and not out in the opening, you're going to have somewhat of an awkward approach to trying to drive to the pin on the next one. So being out to the left is not necessarily a bad thing. It may add a little bit more distance, but I think it's going to give you more variety in terms of how you can attack the pin. This hole measuring in over 700 feet, I'm not certain, with the OBs that come into play and the water that's short and left, I'm not certain as to if we're going to see people throwing and attacking that green or not.
One thing I am noticing is that the wind is picking up a little bit, but right before the tee shots here, you asked me about the coverage of the women for last year, and frankly, we did very little of it. With the exception of the Tour Championship, we may have done none. No, that's not true. At Ledgestone, at Silver Cup, we did do a little bit of the women. We caught the last few holes a couple of times. The interesting thing, when I was making the highlight reels, I was literally embarrassed because we had almost no footage of the women's rounds for the whole first season. There's 5 events plus a tour championship, and we really only had 2 or 3 or 4 rounds of the women, and that was, I think that was a travesty. So this year, we're looking to correct that, and I'm hoping we cover every single round of the women, either live or edited, and I would say the lion's share will be through edited coverage. And yesterday was our first go. I think towards the end of the round we got a little bit better, getting rid of some of the lead, the 10 seconds before they throw and the 5 seconds after the disc lands, and we tightened things up, and we're able to show more shots in the same amount of time. So going forward, maybe we'll add some video assets and heck, maybe some dancing bears and make it real.
Well, more coverage is better for everyone, and we're glad to be providing it. As you touched on, having the additional post-produced rounds, thanks to Central Coast, thanks to Joe Miss Productions, thanks to Marty McFly over at Prodigy. Again, just that very inclusive nature and giving as much media coverage of as many players as we can handle, and we'll continue to develop and grow into even more. And Vanessa Van Dyken looking to take the water and OB green out of play as much as possible here. Again, not being able to necessarily drive all the way to the pin from the position she's in. She opted for a completely different angle and route. Very conservative, but yet very smart, and that is the definition of playing within your own boundaries.
Yeah, very smart play, Terry. I wish that I had that ability sometimes, but there's a reason she's on the chase card, maybe making a run.
Valerie Jenkins lining up a very similar route. She's going to play out to the right-hand side, let it filter left. And although it looks as if she's going the opposite direction from the pin, that is a very good play. And she will set herself up nicely. She will be throwing at the basket with a sloping green behind her when she comes in from that angle. However, that seems to be the best play here from the position that they're in right now.
So as Zoe Andyke lines up her third shot, she looks like she's going to be giving it a try. It's a very risky shot. The more right, the more safe. Amazingly flat shot, maybe flatter than she was hoping. It trickles down to the left. She's left herself about 100 feet to the pin with water behind. As we walk to the approach shots, a quick look in at the men's side. Gavin Rathbun has moved into a two-way tie with Kel Leviska at 9 down. Paul Macbeth and Anthony Barella currently have the hot cards at 10 down each. Paul Macbeth 17 down, tied with Ricky Wysocki, Lizotte, and Devin Owens.
And Steve, as you were giving us the scoring updates, we saw our lead card get into position. Catrina Allen unleashing a great roller here. With where I'm standing, I see a 350 marker in the ground, so indicating she's approximately 350 feet from the pin. Second to tee will be Paige Pierce. Paige, not known for her rollers. In fact, when I interviewed her just a few weeks ago, she said She doesn't frequently rely on them. She obviously has more than enough power in the air, so a roller is not a shot that she frequently goes to. And we are seeing just that here. However, that's coming in very low and gets caught up in the grass. She's not going to be able to attack the pin from there.
So based on the fact that the last hole was a par 3, I'm assuming this is also a par 3?
This is actually a par 2. We're playing Iron Woman par here today. Now, this is, I believe, one of only 2 par 4s on this course.
So this is an amazing shot. If you can get out to where Catrina did, you have a look at going up and down a birdie if you're going to be playing aggressive. But just getting out here to where the camera is seems like a pretty good and significant shot. Like that.
And Sarah Hokom's coming directly at us, however, seems to have caught up by the tree limb. And as we wait for the lead card to move over, we'll also be able to catch up with the second card. You know that you're playing a long and challenging disc golf hole when you have 2 cards both on the hole at the same time. Off to my left-hand side, in a somewhat adjacent fairway, I see Dave Felberg, who is, of course, shooting very well, coming off his Masters win last weekend at the Gentlemen's Club Challenge. That was, in fact, David's first ever Masters event, and he is currently 1 for 1 in the Masters field. I also see Paul McBeth, Nate Perkins, both on the card with him as well. Felberg sitting at 16 under par, has the second hottest round of all competitors at 9 down, and seeing McBeth and Barella currently with the 2 hottest scores at 10 under each. So they're on hole number 17 with just 2 holes to play.
No. Oh, they're on 17, yes, sorry.
Don't second guess me, Steve.
It will happen again.
And we're going to be able to turn back into position here in just a few seconds and see Sarah Hokom will be throwing her approach shots in a few seconds. Right now, our lead card may or may not actually throw their approach shots because I don't think they're going to be going for the green. Steve, our head is on a swivel here, just looking at the action going back and forth. Valerie Jenkins is up to putt, and I also see Sarah Hokom throwing her essentially what will be a layup drive. She's not trying to drive the green from here.
I hope Johnny's doing a picture-in-picture because Valerie's putt could be very exciting if she decides to run it.
Valerie should not be running it. Instead, just puts herself within 12 feet of the pin.
Sarah puts herself in very good position to go up and down and card the par on what may be the most challenging hole on the course.
Steve, we're in quite the position here. We're seeing golf just about everywhere. I think we should set up some lawn chairs out here for the rest of the week.
If I was going to name this spot, I would call it a golf and geese. That's what I'd call it right here.
Dave Felberg on the tee of 17 off to my left.
Geese is showing off.
And Pierce is also throwing her driving, gets caught up by a tree. That will, in fact, solidify the best score she'll be taking here as a 4.
And I'm presuming she's got as thick as the woods get, that's about as bad as they get over there. And that's going to be a very tricky upshot just to save her 4.
Paul McBeth teeing on 17. Seems as if that had turned over and is looking to finish from where I can see. He'll be putting from there. Nate Perkins will be teeing next.
I think for all those people saying we didn't have any men's coverage, I think that is now solved.
A few quick images and or play-by-play from us is really all anyone needs. And as Valerie Jenkins clears from the green on hole number 7, Catrina Allen is checking the line that she wants to take. We'll see if she's aggressive to go after the green here.
I know if this was the final round, she would be running for the green, having to make up 6 strokes with 10 holes left. But with 2.5 rounds left, it'll be interesting to see the decision she makes. She could reach this pin.
And she also is, she knows that Paige Pierce is lying too, and has a chance, like you said, to pick up at least a stroke or two, depending on what she opts for. We're feeling a light breeze as a headwind here. It's been relatively calm throughout the day, at least since this round has started, but we're feeling a light breeze, and that's certainly going to affect her shot here as she's throwing directly into a headwind. Steve is working with me on Physics 101, saying that if she throws a big hyzer and the wind picks up and carries far left, she'll find herself in the water. Steve, looks as if she got caught up by a tree and has come up short of the OB green. It'll be a close call. It's hard to tell from where we're at, but I believe that's going to be short. She'll have a pitch over the green. I'll probably be walking away with a par 4 here.
So being just short of that green and having clipped a tree, you got to wonder what she was doing. Was she going for it?
It seems as if she was, and a big hyzer, had it caught the wind, would have gone up and left and into the water. Had it not caught the wind and carried right to the basket, she'd be putting from close to the basket.
The possibilities are endless.
And it sounds as if Paul Macbeth continues his tear here, moving to 11 under par, and is currently tied for the lead with the young gun, Gavin Rathbun. Gavin is less than 20 years old. He may be only 17 or 18, if I recall, from Illinois. Good friends with Imec McDonald, who we spoke with last night. This is Paige's approach coming in. And our second camera caught that perfectly coming in there, Steve.
Everybody knows exactly what happened there, and Paige has got herself right in that position.
Again, from our vantage point, tough to tell as to if that sat down. Sarah's forehand went left of the basket. And both Paige and Sarah Hokom asking Steve and I as to whether or not if their shots were inbounds, and honestly, we just simply cannot see them. You guys are seeing our second camera, however, we're not able to see what's going on there.
I'm actually shorter than Sarah and have a worse vantage point.
You're much shorter. And speaking of short, looks like Catrina Allen came up short on that approach. She obviously needed to be very tentative. That's a very fast green, but she's left herself with a tester. She would have loved another 10 to 12 feet on that for to have an easy tap in. Instead, she's looking at least at a 20-footer, maybe even 22 feet, downhill with a death putt, water behind it. And no doubt there by Catrina Allen. Again, I said she left herself with a tester. However, someone as mentally strong as Allen, no problems looking at that downhill putt with water behind. Both Sarah Hokom and Paige Pierce are inbounds. Paige cleans up for the par 4 here on hole number 7. Paige will remain at 5 under par. We'll be back with you in a few moments after a word from our sponsors right here at the 2017 Memorial Championships presented by Discraft. And welcome back here on the middle of hole number 8. A downward sloping fairway here with OB on the far right and of course OB water on the left. We're seeing Valerie Jenkins, who had played safely out to the right side.
That was a nice upshot by Valerie. She lays it at the base. I love these trees. These remind me of the Spanish moss in Savannah. It's, I assume these are willows of some kind. Does that sound right?
Honestly, for any horticulture knowledge or birds or anything outside, including clouds, I go to Madison Walker. She's got all of those answers, so I wouldn't even venture to guess as to what types of trees these are.
I would say if Madison keeps playing well, there's a chance we'll see her again and we can ask about these and maybe some cumulus and some stratus.
That sounds great.
Here's Vanessa from 20 feet.
And Vanessa seemed to be a little bit tentative. It's always hard, whether it's 12 feet, 20 feet, or 32 feet. Anytime you're staring at a basket with water directly behind it, it can be a little bit nerve-wracking. She has, in fact, stayed inbounds. She'll have a short comeback putt. The pace will pick up for the next few holes. I know that they are relatively short. I believe the next 3 are incredibly short by what we normally see out here on our national tour, PDGA tier, or Pro Tour courses. So it's time to rack up some birdies. If there's a time to do it, it's the next 3 holes.
So that's it's interesting that you say that. Bearing that in mind, arguably we should look at the scores and see if the ladies on the earlier cards are in fact gaining some ground.
And Catrina ready to go immediately as the crowd moves off and skips right next to the basket. Great shot by Catrina Allen. Again, she is in game mode. As soon as the cart in front of her moves off the green, she immediately is stepping up and ready to go. And Paige comes up short of the pin. This will be a real decision here. We rarely see Sarah Hokom with a backhand shot. That seems to be the most logical play. I think she's going to be playing this for a 3 if so. And she's instead lining up a forehand. We'll see if she's going over the water. And go big or go home, they say. Sarah Hokom flirting with the water on the left side, brings it in, and she'll have a putt for birdie from there.
Last hole, Catrina Allen failed to gain a stroke, even though she was in much better position after the drive. She put the pressure on everybody with that drive that we just witnessed. I'd say Sarah and Paige definitely stepped up and answered, giving themselves an opportunity to at least look at the birdie and not lose a stroke to Catrina, who's 8 feet away from the pin. What a beautiful drive that was. Doing a quick update on the men's side. Paul Macbeth continues to shoot the hot round. He's at 12 down now. He is in fact in the clubhouse. He is our leader in the clubhouse at 19 down. Ricky Wysocki down. Lizotte, Gavin Rathman, and Dave Feldberg are all also 18 down. Let's come back to the women. Sarah Hokom just inside the circle's edge.
And Hokom from 31 feet, perfectly in line, just a bit too much power off the top of the basket. And even off of the top of the basket, you have to make sure that it doesn't get up and catch an edge and roll with the water just left of the pin. And with the muddy terrain near the OB water, Paige has to make sure her footing is solid. Catrina agrees that she has a legal stance. And certainly a case of aggressiveness coming back to bite her. She was going for the putt, which hit off of the tree and then kicked directly OB. And an unforced error here by Paige Pierce is going to cost her a stroke. She does have a relatively short putt for cleanup. And you saw Paige look down, maintain her composure, take a deep breath, step up, and complete the hole. She's going to walk away with a penalty 4, relinquishing at least a stroke to Sarah Hokom and probably 2 here to Catrina Allen. Hokom is in, and again, Catrina parking the hole, taps in for the easy 2. We're through 8 holes. We'll be back with you in a few moments as we catch up with you on the tee of hole number 9 right here at Fiesta Lakes. Catrina Allen still on the tee after taking the birdie 2. She comes up from the OB green. She initially landed in there and skipped into the inbounds area. She'll be short. This hole sets up perfectly for the sidearm throwing Sarah Hokom, and that disc just will not sit down. It's currently rolling backwards. We know it will eventually plop over, and she is in fact safe. And as Paige steps up, she'll be throwing a forehand shot here as well on hole number 9. She's looking for that to hyzer up or stop, and it looks like it's stopped. That was heading directly to the water. However, I believe she will be safe. Certainly an errant throw here by Pierce. Might be a little bit rattled from the previous hole. And Steve, as we walk down the fairway here, we're seeing that Paul McBeth is no longer the outright leader. In fact, he has a co-leader, and it's none other than Ricky Wysocki.
The old guard bringing it back here after the young guns won day 1. Ricky is now 9 down through the round and 19 down, just like McBeth for the day, but Ricky's got 3 more holes to play.
So safe to say that there's a little bit more room, as holes 16, 17, and 18, of course, are very birdieable. But as of right now, Ricky Wysocki has a tie of the lead along with Paul Macbeth.
Oh, and we now have a third person tied through 19 down. Simon Lizotte just birdied hole 15, is now 8 down through the day. Here's Paige from 60.
And Paige with a layup just to the right of the pin. There is a slope behind this basket, as we find so frequently out here at the Fiesta Lakes course. However, this one is not as drastic as on some of the other holes. We'll see if both if both Catrina and Hokom are feeling comfortable. They may be running at this putt. They seem to be in a relatively good angle. Catrina is sitting at about 36 feet from the pin. Sarah Hokom, on the other hand, at about 29 feet. I think we're going to see Catrina run at this. Catrina checking the wind. Cat, in fact, going for it, however, just a few feet short. And Sarah Hokom will take the lone birdie here on hole number 8. Correction, hole number 9.
That's through the
and
round.
with that, Sarah Hokom moves to 3 under par and pulls herself within 3 strokes of Paige Pierce. Paige will tap out. Both Paige and Catrina actually waiting here on as the competitors tee on the next hole. Zoe Endek catching the right side. All right, we'll be back with you in a few moments. You're watching action right here from Fiesta Lakes. This is the 2017
Wow.
This is the 2017 Memorial Championships. Presented by Discraft. Something like that, Steve?
I'm here with Simon McMahon, ready to go.
All right, we'll be back in a few moments. I need a break.
Flashlight LED disc golf discs just changed the game. The unique Disco Select feature allows everyone to choose their own color by simply pressing the middle button, then pressing it again during the first rotation of colors when the one you want appears. Or you can leave it in disco mode, rotating through the 6 different colors for the duration of your game. Designed by serious professionals, crafted from Night Eye's unrivaled sure grip material, and featuring Night Eye's patented fiber optics array, these discs strike the perfect balance of durability, stability, performance, and just plain awesomeness. With easily replaceable batteries and an uber-long life, the Flashlight driver, mid-range, and putter will shine as they blaze your path to victory, day or night. Night Eyes. Discover your solution.
And after a quick nap here by myself to make sure I get caught up, we are here on hole number 10, just watching the second card clear out. And Steve, I got to tell you, on the last hole, I didn't quite have my wits about me. I was wondering why I was watching Zoe tee a number of times, and unfortunately, she struggled. This hole this year is an island hole. However, you don't have to come to rest within the island. If you go over the island, you take it from where it was last in bounds. So unlike, say, 17, which we frequently see at USDGC, it's not quite like that island. But Zoe just couldn't find herself in bounds after a few shots.
And that's too bad. Zoe's one of the happiest people on the tour. We're always rooting for Zoe, but my guess is she's going to lose 2 or 4 or 6 strokes on the apparently challenging hole 10. That green looks like it's going to go right to left. If you throw in a backhand, you might not want to land on there.
And Catrina Allen is confirming that the green is clear. And Sarah Hokom will get into position with a birdie from the previous hole. And Sarah Hokom has been given a red flag. Again, if the disc crosses the inbounds area, then you would take it from where it was last inbounds. However, the spotter did not give any indication as to whether or not it crossed the inbounds area or not. He told us that it was in fact OB. So this is considered a provisional here by Sarah Hokom. Smart play. That one is certainly inbounds there by Sarah. And immediately out of her hand, Catrina realized she had pulled that one wide to the left, similar to what we saw on hole number 1 to open the round. And nearly placing herself on top of Sarah Hokom's second effort. She is inbounds. And with her first effort, Paige Pierce is on the green. She'll be putting for birdie 2.
So an interesting thing, Tommy, Tommy, you commented that Catrina pulled that shot left, just like she did on 1, and on hole 2 she pulled the shot right because it was a backhand. That's just a thread that maybe be going through this whole round for her, just releasing a little bit later than she hopes.
We'll certainly keep note of that as we move into the back half of the Fiesta Lakes course. Again, Sarah Hokom had thrown a provisional. She was only indicated that she was out of bounds, and there was no indication that she had in fact gotten over the island. And with her coming up short of the green, it looks like she will in fact pick up, and next to throw will be Paige Pierce here. Paige from 27 feet for birdie. And just low with the uphill putt. We're also feeling a slight gust of wind. Sarah Hokom will be obstructed by the single tree between her and the pin. Hokom seriously contemplating whether she's going to go left or right of the tree. It looks like she's going to settle up on the left side.
Off the top right of the cage, I'd say.
And Catrina Allen is waiting because off in a distance, just off to the left side from where she'll be lining up, she is seeing the teeing from hole number 13. I see Melody Wabel stepping up to this tee. I believe a moment ago I saw Kona Panis throwing her drive on 13.
Her drive actually skipped off the water and made it inbounds. Melody's drive cleared it. I hope Rick's catching that, because those are a couple of good shots right there.
And just about getting over and clear. The third and final tee shot there on hole number 13. Catrina will likely wait for them to walk past. Again, they'll move to the left. We'll see if they do just that. She's going to wave them forward. And a little bit of a congestion point here. Hole 13 is also a common spot for backups. It seems as if the 13 and 14 interchange seems to be a little bit backed up here today. Also a great vantage point to take in a few different holes. And Catrina off the front of the rim, frustrated after waiting, slams it into the basket. So both Catrina and Sarah Hokom will relinquish a few strokes. Sarah, in fact, will tap in, and we'll adjust the scores on UDisc Live. Just a little too quick for you here. All right, we're through hole number 10. We'll be back in a few moments right here for the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
For me, it's time with my friends.
For me, it's a walk in the park.
For me, it's my job.
For me, it's fun.
Paige Pierce with a somewhat of a modified standstill here on hole number 11's tee. Hokom over the stump, off the tree, toward the pin. Little assistance here on hole 11. And Catrina's carries long and left here on hole 11's tee. Hole 11 measures in at 168 feet. It is, in fact, the shortest hole the competitors will play on this weekend at the Memorial Championships. Steve, there's always been a lot of talk about ball golf and disc golf integration. We're out here at this Fiesta Lakes golf course. Last weekend we were at the Wild Horse Golf Course outside of Las Vegas. What are your thoughts as we move forward with our sport and the two meshing together?
They're definitely more camera friendly and more spectator friendly. Either way, I'd like to see a smaller number of courses played for a Pro Tour event. As we talked about earlier, most of the other events have just one. Great GMC has two. This has three, and maybe we should limit that down to two in the future. We'll have to see.
A solid attempt there by Paige Pierce with a awkward uphill putt. She's off the top of the basket. And Katz, which was going right for the basket. Not sure if that leaf had blown just in time for it to block her shot. It looked like it was directly on line. Hokom left with approximately 15 feet to the pin. And Hokom's attempt also just a bit strong as it's off the top of the basket. We're going to see all three women with par threes here, assuming Paige can convert. Again, she went off the top of the basket and skipped along. She can, in fact, pull herself the 3 feet from the OB wall if she'd like. However, it looks like she's going to take a knee to level up with the basket. Just high. A very unfortunate turn of events here. I would not have expected to see Paige Pierce or any of these competitors take the bogey for. We're going to see our top three women play the shortest hole in +1 on the day. Some challenges out here as we're on hole 11. We've got a brief walk over to hole 12. Stay tuned. You're watching live disc golf right here for the 2017 Disc Golf Pro Tour. Welcome back to hole number 12. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, also with our Disc Golf Pro Tour Director, Steve Dodge. And Steve, Val Jenkins is getting it done today on the green. We've seen a number of huge putts from her. She seems to be getting it done with her new plastic. Yesterday she was talking about some of the disc that she has acquired. We're seeing thrashers and heat for drivers. She said that she's been putting with a Challenger. She says it's also very nice that she can go out to the van and at any point grab any disc, as of course Nate Doss, also sponsored by Discraft.
She is indeed getting it done. Val's always a strong competitor. The person getting it done today most on the women's side is, in fact, Madison Walker. She's now 6 down. She's 2 strokes behind Paige Pierce. I don't know if she is scheduled to come back here and let us know how she's doing. But with her being 6 down, 2 behind Pierce, that means Hokom, who's 1 down, is 2 behind Madison now. And Catrina, who's also 1 down, is 3 behind Madison and 5 behind Paige. Madison is making this a pretty tight battle.
She certainly is. Great playing here by Madison Walker out here. Again, checked in earlier with Paige as they were on the hole 5-6 interchange, saying that she was killing it. And earlier today, we caught up with Madison Walker. Maybe we can hear what she had to say, but right now we're on the tee with Sarah Hokom. Sarah hoping for more turn on that as it finishes up and to the right. Plenty of room here on hole number 12's tee. It's going to finish wide right, but pin high. Paige also trying to use all the fairway on that right-hand side. Also drives it actually past the pin. However, that will be right of it. I must clarify, I did not speak on camera with Madison Walker earlier. I had asked her if she had a few moments for an interview. She said, I'm not feeling very well. I'm just trying to get warmed up and get out and get ready for the round. And clearly, what do they call that? The Michael Jordan effect? Madison Walker maybe not feeling well. Michael Jordan with the flu comes out and throws down a triple-double. I'll go with some basketball lingo for all you at home.
It's all about the triple-double with you, Terry. I'll say one thing. A couple holes ago, it seems like you potentially aren't feeling well, and you're not pulling out the Jordan in you. Pulling out the, I don't know what you said. I think you said Ricky Lazat was teeing off somewhere. But one interesting thing that is happening on the men's side, well, it's all over, actually. You'll have to wait for Joe Mez and Central Coast and Prodigy so you can watch it, other than hole 17's tee shots, which you've already seen. But Ricky Wysocki finished 12 under for the round. He's 22 down. The other folks on the lead card tomorrow, which will go off at 2 o'clock local time, 4 o'clock Eastern, are Cale Laviska, Simon Lazat, and Paul Macbeth, who tied Ricky at 12 down. Those guys had the hot rounds. And we're looking at second shots.
I believe we will be in a few moments. In fact, again, a ton of congestion here on the 12-13 interchange. I see Madison Walker has just thrown her tee shot off as I look off in the distance, and Sarah Hokom is approached to within 20 feet. And we'll make sure to move closer here as I apologize for the static on my behalf. I wasn't sure if Steve Dodge had said he'd like more stats or more static, but we'll provide both. And with being pin high, Catrina was able to go after this pin. However, looks like she's gone up and over, and she'll be left with a short tester. Paige will be next to putt. There is a green that is past this basket, so Paige is going to have to be careful. And it sits down for her. And as Steve had so suggested, and looking for that clarification, as we discussed a number of other times, all greens found out here for the ball golf course are in fact OB. They have a painted white line around them. It looks as if Catrina has come up short of the OB green. And Catrina visibly frustrated with the movement that's going on behind the basket, asking all of the crowd and gallery to maintain their stance. And solid putt by Catrina Allen. Steve, I believe we see most of the pro women's field on hole number 13 right now. I think we'll be able to catch up with a majority of them when we get over there in a few moments. Hokom in for the 3. And no problems for Paige Pierce. Earlier in the day, I did in fact catch up with both Paige Pierce and Valerie Jenkins to get a little insights from them about their week here at the Memorial. We'll be back with you in a few moments, but first let's catch up with Paige Pierce before the start of today's round. Our leader, Paige Pierce, is just about to go out for the second round here at the Memorial Championships presented by Discraft. And Paige, you opened the tournament with a 3 under par. How did that feel for you?
It felt good for the most part. I had 2 weird out of bounds on holes that I never go out of bounds on. But other than that, I played pretty clean and my putt felt good. So hopefully I can stick to that today.
So moving over to the Fiesta Lakes course, do you feel like there's any kind of game plan, anything that changes here? We've got bright, beautiful, sunny skies. Anything different, though, in your game?
Yeah, it's nice to be wearing shorts finally. It's been, the past 8 rounds have been super cold. But other than that, it's been super windy. I've been watching the guys struggle from 25 feet. So hopefully just get close, and if not, I'm probably going to be laying up some putts.
Now this course has a similar distance overall to what we found at Fountain Hills before you guys go to Vista tomorrow. Do you feel like a course that's a little longer or shorter, more technical? Is there any style of course that you feel like suits your game better?
I think that on certain long holes I have an advantage, but it's a little only a few holes it comes into play. Like I can throw about 410, so if a hole's anywhere to 430, then I think I can at least attempt to gain a stroke. Out here there's not very many of that, so anybody has a chance today. It's just who can get the birdies. This course is very short.
Okay. Is there a particular hole that you're exceptionally excited for, that you get up to and you're like, oh yeah, I got this?
Out here?
Yeah.
I think I like them all, honestly. I think this is a really fun track. It's different than the other 2 courses. You have to use trees and hit your lines accurately. So let's see. I think hole 2 is a great hole, and then hole 6 probably.
All right. Well, this is Paige Pierce. We're looking forward to checking out the round here today as we're covering the women. We wish her the best of luck with her lead at 3 under par moving into the second day. Welcome back as we are here on the tee of hole number 13. Valerie Jenkins is first to throw. Shortly after our women tee off here on hole number 13, I'll be conducting an interview. We're going to be talking with Bruce Kinney, the owner of Zucca Carts. First we have Vanessa Van Dyken on the tee. Vanessa's shot coming in, covering, going over the water, and coming in nicely. That is in fact safe. And third to tee here will be Zoe Andike. Zoe up and over the water, clearing it and heading toward the pin. She'll have a challenging putt from there. And joining me now, we have our owner of Zucca Carts in Bruce Kinney. Bruce, how are you doing today?
Great, Terry. How about yourself?
I'm doing really well. Could you please give us a little bit of information about how Zucca got involved with the sport of disc golf and all the support that you guys have been giving to us here at the Pro Tour?
Sure. We had a disc golfer come to us about 2 years ago and talk about how much they loved our cart for ice skating and they wish we had an outdoor version. And so we just started tinkering. You know, we put different parts on it. We tried different sizes and shapes. We tested it for about 12 months before we actually brought it to market about a year ago. And then last January we ran into Steve at the show in Salt Lake City, and we started talking about opportunities. And from our standpoint, getting into a new sport, we want to actually help the sport as well. This isn't just us trying to sell carts. We really believe this has a upside as a sport, a lot of participation, much lower cost and barriers of entry versus stick golf. And I think we kind of found a little niche here that serves a purpose. Right? It helps people get the backpack off their back, makes it easier to roll around, a little less tired, maybe a little more energy to finish the round. And so we're enjoying it.
Well, it certainly has had a huge impact. We're seeing Zucca Carts literally all around the country. Everybody is enjoying them, and they also serve the dual purpose. You mentioned a moment ago, it gets the bag off your back, which can obviously be stressful after a 3 or 4 hour round, but then it provides as a chair as well. And so many disc golfers are carrying a bag and a chair, and you're doing that all in one.
You know, we've been very fortunate with our products so far. We find little niches and we try to take advantage of them and help the sports out, help the individuals out. And you know, first time I've been out to this tournament event, beautiful event, run very nicely, pretty impressed. So hopefully we can stay involved with the sport for years to come.
Well, we certainly appreciate all of your support of the Disc Golf Pro Tour and in all of disc golf and beyond. Again, I've been traveling all around the country. We see the players that you sponsor, but also all of the events and the coverage and everything that you guys are providing. It's been excellent. What's been your takeaway from disc golf? Now that you've been introduced to the sport, what's the thing that's maybe stuck out the most for you as a company that didn't necessarily start with disc golf in mind?
I think the thing that strikes me is anyone can play it in a limited amount of space. You don't need huge resources. You don't need to spend a lot of money to get involved. It's very family oriented, and it just really takes full advantage of the environment you're working in, and you can tailor the courses very easily. So I think the participation is very accessible for the average person, not like stick golf, and it's great to see people out here as families and groups.
All right, and the last question is, if somebody wanted to get themselves a Zucca cart, what's their best way to go about that? Should they be contacting the Pro Tour, an authorized local dealer? What is that? How should they go ahead and get themselves one today?
We do have a special edition for the Disc Golf Pro Tour that we're putting out here. It has their logos on it and helps them sponsor the tour, and some of the proceeds go towards the tour. or they can contact us at www.zuka.com, or we have retailers across the U.S.
All right, excellent. Well, Bruce, again, thank you for the support, the Disc Golf Pro Tour, the PDGA, everyone here that's enjoying disc golf, getting the disc off their back, pulling it behind them, and having a chair. We appreciate it. Thanks, and let's get back to the action.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Again, caught up with the owner of Zuka, very nice gentleman. Him and his wife out here taking in the action. And we are catching up with the putting taking place on hole number 13's green. And Val Jenkins looked to have a aggressive stroke there. I'd like to also take a moment to recognize all of the people that are making today and our live broadcast possible. Of course, the Disc Golf Pro Tour and all of the sponsors involved with our broadcasting effort. We have Chad Inman on the camera, on the catch cam here throughout the week. We also have Rick Couchane here on the throw cam, Johnny V at the controls, along with Gary to the O. Gary taking the week easy here, giving us all the graphics from back home in Milwaukee as opposed to out on the course. Thank you so much to all of you guys, so we can bring you live disc golf right here for the Disc Golf Pro Tour. The second card is just about to clear out, and when it does, we'll be back with action on the lead card. Steve Dodge has talked a number of times today about the scoring that we saw taking place with Ricky Wysocki out in front. Paul Macbeth shooting one of the hot rounds out here as well. A great looking card that we'll be featuring tomorrow at the Vista del Camino course. We'll of course be live with you and bring you more women's footage spliced in as we move down throughout the tournament day. Dynamic Disc new team manager has in fact showed up out here at Fiesta Lakes. I think he's been out here hustling and working around all weekend. We wouldn't let him on the microphone this week because I was in fear again that he might steal my job, but Robert McCall is here, and Robert, one of your team members, Paige Pierce, is out in the lead, and looks like she's settled in a little bit here today.
Yeah, it looks like she's maintaining all right. Yesterday was pretty fun to watch. I got to caddy for Paige yesterday, and she played really well out there, managed the course really well, so excited to see how this one finishes.
Sarah Hokom with her powerful forehand is over the water and comes up short. She'll have a look up over the hillside there. Catrina second to tee. How much of this round have you been able to consume out here in person, Robert?
Yeah, I caddied for Zach Melton for all 18 holes today, and he started off pretty well and then had a little bit of a bad finish. Oh, wow, Catrina cleared the green. We've got our spotter running down to look. Oh, goodness, you can't tell what's going on with him. But I got to see all 18 holes. That's my first time out here, and it's a great facility. Lots of danger and lots of beautiful shots. It was cool.
Yeah, and speaking of danger, Catrina Allen did in fact get a red flag. Looks like she is OB from her tee shot. Last to tee is Paige Pierce after taking the bogey a few holes ago.
Looks like she's just playing safe.
Chasing down one of the spotters, and they will move down the fairway. Again, just about 1/3 of the course remains here today, and it has been a gorgeous day. Light winds they have been variable, and I believe we're pushing 77 or 78 degrees at the moment. We're looking at about 4:11 in the afternoon. So great day out here in Arizona at the Fiesta Lakes Golf Club. Robert, what are we going to see the last two rounds here? We're halfway through on the men's side. We're nearly halfway through on the women's side. What do you see on the last two rounds out here?
I think we're going to have a little bit of a shakeup from what I could tell. The men's side, Paul Macbeth came out and shredded today. I'm pretty sure he shot a 44. I mean, that's hot. And also, just a side note, if you haven't been out here, if you've just watched videos of the Memorial, which was my position as well. It is way more difficult than you think. These guys are making it look easy, but it is by no means easy. So a little bit of a shake-up on the guys' side, and then on the women's side, from what I understand, Madison Walker is putting together a really, really good round. I believe she's 6 under to course par right now, which, if my math is correct, would put her in second place behind Paige and ahead of our other 2 lead card competitors.
Well, I hate to say it, but check UDisc, bro. That's where it's all at. UDisclive.com.
There's actually a lot of people trying to check UDisc out here, so I can't get mine to load, but I saw one earlier, and it was looking good.
That's right. Madison Walker having a great performance out here today. She is, but in a distance, I can see her off on, I believe, hole 15 or 16. The women are going to make a long walk around the OB water that is found out here on hole number 13. And they'll be coming right back to where we're standing. We're actually right next to the tee on 14 at the moment. So we'll watch as the women go up to hole number 13's basket.
If you haven't had a chance to see Madison play as of late, she's really been working on her backhand game. And hole, 14 over here, plays a little over 400 feet, 415, 425, something like that. And the green, I think it's at about 375. And Madison came up, 20 feet short. She has been crushing a backhand. So she's putting in work right now. It's been cool to watch.
Interesting enough, Robert McCall, that you watched the women's play and that you've been taking note of that. Steve Dodge earlier was quite shocked by some of the routes and some of the angles in which the women are releasing. But, Steve, I'm not sure if you saw, we saw Catrina Allen go OB here on hole number 13. I think we're going to see a layup by Paige Pierce. And wondering if you've got any more scoring updates here on our private UDisc server. And if you've heard anything from UDisc directly.
Yes, I've heard from UDisc, and they say that we have more people watching on UDisc than we've ever had in history. So UDisc is killing it. Obviously, you are killing it, Terry. I just spent a little time talking with Bruce Kinney. It's nice that he graced us with his presence from Zuka Kart. Those karts are definitely hitting the fairways well. How's that? Nice little time.
It's a great play. I like that.
So you're asking for some scores. Let me see what I've got here. Well, the men who were finished are still the same way they were.
Well, they're not all Finnish. There's a few Finnish players here.
There are a couple of Finnish. Is Vanessa Van Dyken Finnish?
She's originally from San Diego. I know that she has befriended Seppu Paju, but she's actually from San Diego herself. I'm not sure of her origin or nationality.
I saw she has a .fi website on her shirt, and so that got me quite confused because I felt like I'd seen her playing somewhere on the West Coast.
Yeah, again, she hails out of the San Diego area, however, spent most of the season last year abroad. But you have certainly followed along with the women's scene, so your guess is better than mine.
Well, one thing you do, when you make errors, you fix them, and that's what we're in the process of doing, and I look forward to learning more about all of these women. And let's run through some quick scores here. Paige Pierce at 3 down, shooting even for the day. Madison Walker is at even. I guess she just bogeyed hole 13 or 14. She's 5 down overall. 5 down for the day, even overall. Sarah Hokom's 1 down for the day and is just 1 stroke behind Madison Walker for second. Catrina Allen is also 1 down for the day, 1 stroke behind Sarah Hokom. And I'll go ahead and say 1 stroke off of the lead card for tomorrow. So she will want to make up that stroke, and Sarah and Madison would prefer she doesn't. Lisa Fakis, 2 down for the day, and Vanessa Van Dyken is 1 up for the day and +5 overall.
All right, well, very interesting. We will see how this shakes up in the final few holes. Again, the women will be playing as a threesome tomorrow. We'll be bringing you edited shot coverage that we'll be able to splice into the men's round as we're watching the live action taking place at the Vista del Camino XL layout here at the Memorial Championships presented by Discraft.
Wait, isn't this Fiesta?
Tomorrow, I said we will be at Vista.
Oh, gotcha. I'm brand new here, so
don't worry. I've been dealing with Steve Dodge all day as well.
Perfect.
You're doing just fine.
Don't question Terry Miller. That's all I've learned.
All right, and unfortunately, this hole has challenged our women. We're going to move on. They're going to make their way back to the tee of 14. We'll be back in just a few moments. Welcome back to the tee of hole number 14. Sarah Hokom with the honors. Sarah Hokom finds the left side of the fairway. Paige able to unleash a monster drive here. And that is carried almost all the way to the pin. From where I can see, it looks to be about pin high. A crushing turnover shot. Checked up nicely for Paige Pierce. Catrina's Anheuser's out of her hand, however, that is tight on the right side. I did not see that come back to the fairway. There is an OB fence on the right side of this pin that follows all along the side of the fairway. We'll be back with you in a few moments right here from hole 14.
Paul's probably throwing a monster here or something like that.
Whoa.
Whoa, okay. Or that. That.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. Here or something like that.
Whoa. And with my excitement, not realizing I don't even have the mic up to my mouth, Paige Pierce with a crushing drive on 2, or a crushing drive on 14 takes the 2. And we see a slight backup here on hole 15. We're going to be back with you in a few moments. You're watching live disc golf right here on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. I'm the Disc Golf Guy, and I've caught up with Valerie Jenkins. And Val, first of all, congratulations. Big news this week.
Yep.
New sponsor.
Exactly.
What a shocker.
I know. It actually was a shocker for some people, which I thought was funny. But yeah, I'm sponsored by Discraft now. It's fun learning these new discs.
Well, one of the big things that you talked about was when you had left your previous sponsor, you said it wasn't just about leaving that sponsor to go to another sponsor. You really wanted to make sure you found the right fit, and you also were working with someone that wanted to help change and shape the game for the women's division. What does that mean for you?
It's amazing. I'm feeling so much happier this year. You know, I'm feeling so much more positive and optimistic about the future for women's disc golf. I just hope that, my statement I made at the beginning of the year hopefully catches on to more disc manufacturers, and I hope that they're willing to stand behind the women on their team and support them just as much as Discraft is agreeing to this year, supporting all the women on the team the same.
Well, and more than just the golf that's going on here as we're opening the Pro Tour for 2017, you and Nate have some pretty exciting things going on right here in the Arizona area. Talk about that.
Yeah, so we want to open our own brewery. That's our next step. That's our next phase in life that we're working toward. And right now we're having the opportunity to brew collaboration beers with breweries around the country. So just about 3 weeks ago we came here. We came to Chandler, Arizona, and we brewed a collaboration beer with a brewery called The Perch. And so that beer is actually being released at multiple locations throughout the week. So when we play disc golf during the day, and then we're hitting these after parties and enjoying all what Phoenix has to offer, and it's been super fun this week.
Well, it's great. Last night we were over at Boulders on Southern, where the players' party took place. You guys sold out of the beer there, and you pretty much sold out of all the collaboration discs that you guys have produced. A very limited run, very limited edition set of discs that you're going to be doing with each collaboration. If they want to partake and they want to taste this delicious Circle's Edge IPA, where can they find it?
Well, you got to be here. You got to be at this event. It's on draft only. Tonight it's going to be over at McFate Brewing. That's just right near Vista. It's in Scottsdale. It's McFate South, actually. And then Friday it'll be at the Perch, where we actually brewed the beer. So that'll be fun, up on a rooftop bar. And then Saturday it'll be at the Finals, Euro Pizza Cafe, right off hole 18 at Fountain. That'll be the end all, and everybody's going to be celebrating, whether it's, just a week in the sun in Arizona or you won the tournament. It'll be fun.
Or maybe you're finding yourself on SportsCenter.
Oh, yeah.
There's any possibility that could happen. All right, well, this again, of course, is Valerie Jenkins playing for Team Discraft as well as playing for Bevel Brewing. We're going to see her and Nate throughout the rest of the week. Let's get back to the action right here at Fiesta Lakes Disc Golf Course. Second on the tee for hole number 15 is going to be Sarah Hokom. And her forehand shot coming in very nicely. She's going to get past Paige by more than 50 feet. The second card is still putting out on this hole. And Catrina Allen, as we've seen for the last few holes, up quick, ready to fire, and she has unleashed a bomb, putting herself further than the other two on the card. Solid shot there by Catrina Allen. And with that, we see Val Jenkins clearing out from the green. We're watching a sizable gallery move down the fairway here on hole number 15. I'd like to thank Valerie Jenkins for catching up with me before the round, talking a little bit about how important this week is to her and Nate, as well as Team Discraft and for Bevel Brewery. Circle's Edge IPA on tap here in the Arizona desert this week. Paige Pierce, literally and figuratively out in front here in the lead. We see Pierce sitting at 4 under par, and her good friend and travel companion Madison Walker having a solid round here today during the second round of the Memorial Championships presented by Discraft. We're glad you guys could tune us. We have just a few holes left as we'll watch Paige attack the green. Initially it looked like it may be a forehand attempt. She's getting a little advice from her caddy, Jonathan Ray. And an approach to within 12 feet of the pin. Second to throw will be Sarah Hokom. As I mentioned, Catrina with the furthest throw in the group. And an outstretched Hokom with a forehand heading just over the pin. And Catrina also throwing with a standstill approach here. She is wide right. Easy cleanup for Pierce, correction. I expect all three of our women to walk away with par threes. Hokom is in. I may have misspoken. This may be in fact listed as a par 4. If so, I expect to see 3 birdie threes if that's the case. And in. We'll be back with you in a few moments. You're watching the live action right here from the Disc Golf Pro Tour and the Memorial Championships presented by Discraft. And welcome back, everyone, to hole number 16. We're here with the second card. Hole 16 measuring in at 357 feet. We just witnessed Val Jenkins' putt attempt. Looks like Zoe Andyke will be up to putt next. Zoe's comes in hot just off the top of the basket. And Jenkins is in. While we wait here, as the women are just about to tee off on hole number 16, I'd like to invite you over to the Disc Golf Guy channel on YouTube tonight. I'll be bringing you a nightly recap podcast. Not sure who the guest will be, but that's what's fun about it. We'll have a number of different people stop by, have some conversations about what's been going on here at the Memorial through 2 rounds here this week, and also what we can look forward to at the halfway point. Look for that around 8 p.m. Mountain Time, 9 p.m. Central, give or take a few minutes. Again, a nightly recap on the Disc Golf Guy channel found on YouTube. Also look for the Smash Cut provided by Johnny V and the Smashbox Studio. That is where we'll take the action from today and we'll break that down and put that into a much shortened and condensed version. May not have the sights and sounds of the game and all of the details. However, it gives you a very quick and condensed version of the round. Paige Pierce is on the tee here on hole number 16. Paige going for the wide turnover shot off the left-hand side, hoping for that to carry harder to the right. Hokom will be taking a similar line, however, she'll be doing it with a forehand, hoping for as much carry as possible to reach this green on the right side of the fairway. Going with a turnover roller shot, backhand roller shot that is Catrina Allen. Just 3 holes to play here today during the second round at Fiesta Lakes. We'll be back in a few moments. Sarah Hokom has thrown her forehand approach to within 2 feet of the pin. And Pierce is able to be aggressive with the backstop here. And Kat thought she had it. That was a great run here just off the front of the basket. And routine here as all 3 women will be tapping in for their par 3s. And we're going to have a brief walk over to hole number 17. Just 2 to play, hole 17. Long, slightly uphill, and a slight back up. We'll be back with you in a few moments right here from Fiesta Lakes Golf Club. Paige Pierce taking an inside route, and from our vantage point, difficult to see if she's in fact come up out of bounds or not. I believe that is to be safe. Hokom releases low, just looking for a safe lie, and she's got just that. And Catrina narrowly misses the tree, gets a really interesting skip up the hill and to the right, and we're going to follow down the fairway. Hole number 18 is relatively short, following up on this second to last hole. Give you live updates and scores as we approach the green. Stay tuned, you're watching live disc golf right here on Smashbox TV. Catrina wastes no time with her approach shot here on hole number 17. There's even, in fact, been a Cool Daddy Slick Breeze sighting. Bobby Brown's out here this week working a camera. I thought you just did podcasts and sat there and looked pretty.
I do everything and all things.
You heard it from him. Paige Pierce, who has driven to almost pin high with the basket here on hole number 17. After collecting the huge birdie back on 14, she has an opportunity to gain another bonus stroke here on 17. And like last time, Paige went to a single knee in the shorter hole back on hole number 11. We saw her come up on the left side. Paige will still walk away with a tap-in par, letting that one just slip by for birdie. Hokom with a relatively short putt comes up touching the front of the basket and does not fall in. Cat is in. As I see off in a distance, the second card is clearing out on hole number 18. Paige will also be tapping in just a few moments. We've got just one left to play here. Stay tuned. You're watching live disc golf, the 2017 Memorial Championships presented by Discraft.
King Discs, established in 2001. Florida's most respected name in disc sports. Official retail merchandiser of the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Currently on tour supporting Discraft and DGA live inventory, free shipping at $12. All orders $19.99, ships in a box, includes single discs, large selection of both stock and collectibles. Check out the website at www.sunkingdiscs.com.
Disc Golf Center has moved to beautiful DeBerry, Florida, just down the road from the River City Nature Park Disc Golf Course. If you're in the neighborhood, come by and check out our spacious showroom and storefront. You'll have direct access to our live inventory of over 20,000 discs, so you can get exactly the weight and color you're looking for. Visit discgolfcenter.com, the world's largest disc golf store.
And welcome back to the final hole of the round here at Fiesta Lakes. Also the 36th hole of the tournament, nearing the halfway point. Paige Pierce sitting at 4 under par. She's first on the tee for hole 18. Pierce with a standstill approach here from hole 18's tee. We'll see the same from Catrina Allen. And a misfire here by Catrina Allen. I must admit, I was not expecting that. It looks as if she maybe held on to it a little too long on the right-hand side. We'll have to see where the next shot is played from. And Sarah Hokom has a great-looking forehand shot that checks up nicely next to the basket. We'll have a brief walk, and we'll find out where Catrina Allen's next shot will be taken from. Right here, Fiesta Lakes. And Catrina is getting a consensus from the group as to where she was last in bounds. It looks as if this is played like a normal OB. And she has a layup to the pin within 10 feet. And Paige with a comfortable lead right now, sitting at 6 strokes in front of Sarah Hokom and 9 in front of Allen. However, we'll wait for Madison Walker's score to be officially tabulated, but she is currently sitting with the lead. Opts for the short layup here on hole 18. And Hokom with a strong birdie finish here on the 18th hole. Catrina will tap in. And Paige is also in. We're going to listen to a word or two from our sponsors, and we'll be back with an interview. We'll find one of our top competitors out here. We hope that you've enjoyed the live women's coverage for the second round here at Fiesta Lakes. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back, everyone. I am joined by the hot round of the day out here, shot by none other than Madison Walker. Madison, just before the round, you were getting warmed up, and we were going to maybe do a quick interview, but you said, I don't feel well.
Shut down.
So I was shut down, and I understand
Can you please
that.
let me warm up and not bother me?
That's not funny. So you got into game mode, and immediately you did just that. You started out with the park job on hole 1, and then it sounded like it just kept rolling.
Yeah, it went really well. It went really well. I got a little tired, mentally tired at the end, but other than that, I had the momentum going, even though there was quite a lot of backups.
You say mentally exhausting. Are birdies just boring for you, or what?
No, like I said, we had a lot of backups, and I think just at the end, I don't know. Yeah, I started getting bored. I'm just kidding.
Too easy. As you were trying to hunt down your travel companion in Paige Pierce, she was shooting very well. We saw a few ups and downs throughout the card, but I think once we check you, Disc, it looks like you might be in second place?
I think I'm in third.
Okay.
I think Hokom still has me by a stroke or two.
Okay, Hokom finished strong. She got the birdie on the final hole, but we're going to probably see you on the lead card tomorrow. How does that feel with your performance thus far?
It's pretty awesome. I kind of had an underwhelming finish in Las Vegas, had a bunch of rough rounds. So it's nice to come out here and do what I can do what I know what I can do. And this is my favorite course out of the 3. I know that's not a popular opinion, but I really enjoy this course. I really like the little birdieable holes. So.
Well, it makes sense, and it sounds like you took advantage of just that. What are you going to see out there tomorrow? You guys are going to move to the longest course of the 3 at Vista del Camino, the XL layout. What can we expect there?
That was actually the only course I did not get to practice. But I've played it so many times, and I've been here twice in the past 2 years, so I feel pretty confident about it. It's very straightforward. I think as long as I stick to my game plan, I'll be fine.
Okay. Well, we wish you the best of luck. It's been a really exciting day out here at Fiesta Lakes. Madison Walker making her move as we move into the second half of the tournament. We'll move over to the Vista del Camino course to see what happens on both the men's and the women's side. So for all of us here at Smashbox TV, we appreciate you guys for tuning in today. For Gary to the O back on the controls along with Johnny V, for Chad right here on the camera, as well as Rick on the camera, for Steve Dodge, Jeremy Coling, all those that chimed in on the mic along with Robert McCall. We appreciate it. It's been a long but great day for Madison and myself, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. We'll see you tomorrow when you step inside the Smashbox.